Return of the Mac. Once again, return of the Mac. Once again. Welcome to everyone to the Jaybefaunt channel. I'm your host, James Fauntleroy. It is so good to see everyone here on this afternoon. It is August 16th, 2022 on a Tuesday at 2 p.m. Just to let you guys know, the Jaybefaunt Show is available on all major podcast platforms like Anchor, Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, so you can subscribe to me there. I'm also on the Revolutionary Blackout Network, so you can catch me on RBN on the JB Show on Sundays at 1, the RBN Live on Tuesdays at 4, and you can catch me on the Savvy and JB Show on Thursdays at 6. And also just a warm thank you to everyone who contributes to me on Patreon, as well as Coffee, and as well as other platforms. Without you guys, the lights would not be on. So I appreciate it from the top and bottom of my heart. If you are new to the channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if also you like what you're seeing, click the like and also the notification bell, just to let you guys know that you like what you're watching and you want to see more of it. Today, I actually have my brother from another mother, the host with the most, right? I have with me Compton Jay from RBN, my brother from RBN with me. CJ, it is so good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you? Always happy to be on your channel and support solidarity, but I'm doing great. What's up?
Yeah. So I have to tell you something because I've been thinking about this and I'm like, man, should I tell him this or shouldn't I? Okay. So every single time I see Keith Sweat, I think about you.
Why? Because my lineup or something?
Yes. And I'm just like, whenever I see Keith Sweat, I'm like, make it last forever. So I'm just like, yo, it's like, I don't know. Like, there's certain people in your life that when you see them and they're famous, they kind of remind you of different family members, right? Do you?
Yeah, I have that same thing. Yeah, I do have it every time I think of that celebrity. I'll think of whoever the person is.
Yeah, like, okay, so it's weird, but every single time I see Oprah Winfrey, I think of my mother. I don't know why, but I just do. Every single time I see Stevie Wonder, I think of one of my uncles. It just happens that way.
Is he blind at least?
No. No. All the weed he smokes helps against, the glaucoma. So he's not blind. But yeah, it's just interesting how you see certain people and then, just think of, you see these famous people and they just remind you of somebody in your life. And then you kind of see the similarities between them. It's just like, wow, okay, that's cool. So
I have the same thing with a couple of people.
Yeah. And any particular famous person that you're like, man, that reminds me of a family member?
Drake is one of them. Where
Really?
any Drake song, yeah. And then I probably have a lot. Holly Berry is another one for one of my cousins.
Okay.
And then what's the dude name? Everybody hates Chris, the father.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One of my brothers, one of my brothers of him.
Cool. Terry Crews. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So one of the things that I want to do is, because you're in this space, and particularly because of a lot of us who are Black in this space, is to encourage people like us who aren't affluent, who are just working or poor, to speak out more. Really, the most you need is a cell phone and a decent connection, and you really can just do this and use your voice, right? And that's how a lot of us got our start. But because of that, it actually opened the door to a lot of people who don't hear from us as often as they should. And so I'm kind of, in a sense, using you as an example, as somebody who's working, who says, look, CJ's doing it. You can do it. We're encouraging you to do so. You know what I mean? So that's one of the primary purposes. And I think one of the great things about you is that you have through your example encouraged people to jump into this space, not just in media, but also between you, Nick, Rome, Savvy. You guys have been encouraging people to get out into the streets to really make a mark to let people know the power that they have. So, first of all, I want to thank you for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I mean, I'm learning as I'm going and from other people that inspire me too. And then I'm
Hmm.
just passing along,
Hmm.
what we can do. That's really how we're going to be able to
Hmm.
kind of re-educate, deprogram from the
Hmm.
propaganda. It's just
Yeah.
each one teach one, and
Yes.
that's really how it's going to work.
Yeah. And as far as and that is actually a really great segue into my first question. So, of course, you are a commentator. You're now a political activist. You are an advocate. Can you give us a brief summary of how you got into that space and what helped you to move into this independent media space?
Um. So it was the pandemic that got me to thinking to do this, and it
Hmm.
was because we were locked in the house for a while. It shut down one of my projects, so before this, I was doing I had a comedy group, which is like
Oh.
comprised of like producers, editors, audio people, actors, whatever you need, video editors, and whatever you need to create content. So we were on a set, like we were in the middle of shooting a a a pilot that I was gonna pitch to Snapchat, because you know how Snapchat has, yes. So I was in the middle of shooting this pilot. It was called Fantastic Felines of Football, and it was about a women's flag football league, but it's a comedy. And
Oh.
it was like if you think of Mean Girls 5 years after they graduate, and then they all kind of come back together and say, "Hey, let's do this league." So it's like all these cliques of girls who were cliques in
Wow.
high school. They came back. So anyway, so we were filming that. We were probably on the second week of that. Then the pandemic hit, and we were like, "Oh, so we'll resume this in 3 months after this pandemic thing is over with."
Yeah.
That's because at the time they were making it seem like this was going to be very short.
Uh-huh.
So we were like, yeah, in 3 months we'll resume and pick back up on the schedule. Like, yeah, it sucks, but because this is like 60 people that's
Wow.
part of this whole this whole thing, and it just had to be put on hold. So because of that, and at home it's boring, not able to go out and do stuff. So I start going back on other social medias because Instagram, I was kind of over Instagram, long over Facebook.
Everybody
I was
is.
like, what other platform can I kind of start doing stuff? So I went
Mhm.
back to Twitter because I had a Twitter account for back when I was a promoter. That's another story. I was a club promoter. So back when I was a club promoter, I had this account that was my club promotions company.
Got it.
So my club promotions company, and it had a lot of just following club people, go dancers, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, and so I went back, and then that's when I don't know, I just started hearing politics, like people tweeting stuff. I never liked the design of Twitter. That's what kept me off of it because I didn't
Hmm.
like the openness of it. But then when I got back, that's when I found the political community on Twitter, and that's really what took off for me. Is that
Hmm.
once I found that community of people, Nick in RBN, the Ryans, I forget the other guy. I haven't seen him in a while, but he was big on Yellow Jackets, the people, the movement in France. I
Oh
can't
yeah.
remember who it was.
Yellow
And then there was
vest.
Yellow Vest, and then there was
Hmm.
another guy that was big on the left, and then he had some kind of sexual harassment he got taken down. But anyway, I'm just giving some of the background of the things that has happened.
There's a lot of things
In the
happening.
evolution. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
fast. So I'm on then the campaign hit. Bernie Sanders is running again in 2020. This is what kind of galvanizes the community. And then, I'm going through my own personal rock bottom in my family. Like I'm going through a traumatic experience. My year was that? My son's best friend had been killed by the Long Beach PD.
Oh.
So I think that was during the pandemic. So I was like going through a very traumatic time during that time, which wasn't good for my family. So hit rock bottom there, and then that's when I'm like, it's time for me to do what the fuck I want to do. I'm like, it's time for me to be who I want. It's time for me to fuck everybody else's feeling. If your feelings infringes upon the way I speak or my tone, that's not a me problem. That's a you problem. So that's when I began. That's when I began to go. I have a voice. I've always been known to be a person who is aggressive in their arguing stance. Like people always thought that I was a lawyer. Oh, you went to law school? No, it's just that it's something I always wanted to do, but never got around to it. Life, this proletariat life never allowed me to double back and do that. So I was like, let me start making these videos. So I started making these videos. I lived in a back house on family property, like a house that wasn't supposed to be a house, like a garage converted. So I was living there, like really bad situation. But I had took the room and I painted the wall green. So I had a green screen and got this desk that I'm using right now.
Wow.
Like it's like a little folding chair, and bought this mic with all the money I had. I started like driving for Uber, one of the delivery services or something like that, to just get some extra money, and then that's it. So that's all she wrote. But it was a really traumatic time. This 2020, 2019 for me, 2018. Oh, and then there's the situation with my son. This is the situation that kind of put me in despair, going estranged from my son, my only son. He's James Jr. Just a situation that popped off with that, where I was a basketball trainer, training him for basketball, and he's an alpha male. I'm an alpha male. So one morning he decided to feel froggy and get physical with his dad, and I had to break him down to make him understand that wasn't happening, and it was a lesson taught in that. But anyway, that evolved into a whole bunch of things. They tried to prosecute me and all this stuff, Long Beach PD, and they literally looked at the case and was like, "This is some bullshit. Defer judgment. Do some bullshit and come back, and we're gonna just dismiss this because this should never even be here." I was at court for 5 minutes. That's never happened in my life. But anyway, so it's a whole situation. I did a video on this, so this is not necessarily brand new news. I did a video years, like when I first started doing this, because somebody tried to smear me about that situation. I'm like, you don't even know what happened. And then when they found out, then they was like, oh, because they just assumed something. It's the police state. It's a whole different thing. I've been meaning to tell that story, but it was a story of a black man standing up to the police state. I would show up in court in these sessions and be like, I'm not afraid of anybody here. Don't think, like I would say it to their face. I'd be like, why is it only black and brown people here? Why is that? They didn't like that at all. And I was like, I can come here every month. You want to see my fucking face every month? I'll be here every month with the same demeanor. You're not gonna fucking break me. You're not. But anyway, so that was the traumatic experience in my life that kind of put me on a different trajectory away from Hollywood. because I do have a background in that. My brother works for Chris Rock, so I was, let me do this stuff, and then I'll have my brother as help that will kind of help me. But yeah, so I had to deal with that. It was a really traumatic experience to what happened with my son. Like it's like a loss, but the person is still here. So very
Yeah.
like I had him with me, like literally I'm training him. I'm the one taking him to school. Like, so it was like me and him. So to have him like removed from my life, that was very, very traumatic. And then to have his best friend be killed during that whole situation,
Oof.
it was just on one thing on top of another. PTSD, anxiety. I'm still dealing with this trauma. I'm still dealing with all of this stuff. Not necessarily my son specifically, but just the trauma of people being killed. Is very traumatic.
Yeah. So it's a lot of collective things that happen, and a lot of times
Right.
when you go
Right.
back to the source of a lot of things that happen in your life, you start to pinpoint, well, maybe if this didn't happen because of that. And then a lot of times you start to get to the financial aspects of it, the economic aspects, and it's like, well, maybe if we had, the type of like access to family counseling that a universal healthcare system that would afford us, then maybe we could have, or when it comes to people working in a certain, it could be somebody who's sleep deprived, who hit somebody with their car. But what if that person wasn't sleep deprived because they didn't have to work all these different hours in order for them to make enough to survive? Then maybe that person wouldn't have been sleep deprived and hit that person with the car. There's so many things that it just it develops. And so you know I just I feel for you, man.
Yeah.
And it's so many stories, man. That's what
It's
makes it
it's it's
hard.
layers on top of layers, and that's probably half
Yeah.
the situation. I still haven't gotten to my cousin being shot. He was shot last year. Like
Oh
it's just
gosh.
stuff. Yeah, it's stuff on
Mm.
it's stuff on top of stuff. So you
Yeah.
know that's the situation. But I'm not unique because the proletariat has a lot of traumatic experiences. This is why we smoke weed. This is what you think that is black culture. Oh, we smoking. That is helping through trauma. That is
Yeah.
helping through trauma. That is helping us through trauma. This connection or this idea that's sort of like our culture to be on, marijuana smokers. And it's for
Yeah.
that reason.
Well, I mean, we have to self-medicate because the system won't actually help us with our health care in the first place, right?
Right, right.
You know.
It's a cycle that just it's terrible. It's terrible to
Hmm.
think. It's terrible
Yeah.
to think. But that pushed me to do the work. So
Hmm.
I just been moving further left. Remember, I started out as a democratic socialist. Proudly had that on my Twitter
We all
banner.
did.
We all did.
We all did.
I was just about to say, yeah, Ryan had it, you had it. I
Yeah,
remember
me.
Nick had some, like we all had it. And just to think back now, like I no way am I a democratic socialist.
Yeah.
No
No,
way.
no,
Just
no.
as I learned
Yeah.
the subjects and the topics and learn more about it, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a lot
Hmm.
further left than this
Yeah.
democratic socialist nonsense. And then,
Yeah.
then met my brothers and my sisters in the struggle,
Yeah.
and that's all she wrote. We told Rome. I told Nick and Rome. I was like, yeah, we're gonna have this channel. We're gonna do these things, and we didn't know who it was when we were talking
Yeah.
at first before we started
Mhm.
identifying people, and that's how it started.
Yeah. And for some odd reason, you guys chose me. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. No,
I
you
was
were a
like,
staunch advocate. You
oh.
were a staunch advocate, but your approach was like softer. So that's like it's what I like about RBN is that we have some over, like all of us I would consider our leaders are, because we all started our own channel. We all did our own thing. It wasn't like you started doing this when you already had a channel. Nick had a channel, I had a channel, Sabby had a channel. And so when we came together, all these different personalities just happened to be almost like Ocean's 11, like the 18, whatever analogy you want, because we have a role. Like you're the passionate one, Rome is like the man of the streets, like Nick is like the foreign policy nerd or just the political nerd, like Sabby is like the surgical professional that's going to come in and surgically remove your heart, and then when she's gone, you're going to figure out your heart is gone. That's what Sabby does, right? She's a professional
She's
surgeon,
a badass. Yeah.
right? And then you have me. I feel like I'm more of righteous anger.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's gonna be like, you want to know how intense our anger is about the police state?
Yeah.
CJ, here you go. And then I come in and I'm like, okay, let me tell you, no, like, so I just feel like we all have a space, and that's why it works. So yeah, love it.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much for that very nuanced answer as to how, because a lot of times people wonder, like, how do you become a socialist or a Marxist or a communist? Like, how do you get into that? And I love how Olami Yeshitela from the African People's Socialist Party put it. He said that people from foreign governments didn't radicalize us. The system is what radicalized us.
Right. Exactly.
And so a lot of times
so true.
We go through this and we're like, okay, this ain't working. Something's got to change. We notice that politicians aren't doing it. So who does that fall on? Us. Let's get it done. And then once we start doing that, then you notice, oh, there are certain different types of apparatuses that are literally killing our leaders right now. Even if we try to start something, we have to move smarter in this space, because guess what? They don't like us. And then that's when, we start moving. We start having to shift and move in different ways. And it's just a lot, man. And, one of the things that I'm actually happy about is that, we're the growth that we've had over the last year. Like, holy shit,
it's been pretty astronomical. It's been pretty fast and like overnight kind of success.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But with that speed, there comes speed bumps or sometimes potholes. So my next question is, what is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned since moving to this space?
What is the biggest lesson?
Well, one of them.
I guess one of the biggest lessons is that learning what actual left is. Like I had the impression of left that the duopoly was given out.
Yeah.
So that was something that woke me out in this space when I got to this space, was just understanding, like, wow, I'm over here in the ocean thinking I'm all in the left space, and it's like, no, it's actually over there. It's actually over there. You
got a lot more to go, brother.
And I was like, what? Yeah, and I was like, what? So that's probably one of the bigger lessons. And then another lesson, I think all of us in RBN, maybe not so much you, learned how we're learning how to work together, because there's a lot of clashes in the beginning. Not with everybody, but there were some clashes in the beginning, but just learning how to work in a space with other people who are very vocal, that's something that's still ongoing and learning right now. So
thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And so what advice would you give to people who want to get in this space, especially those of us who are Black and brown and disenfranchised?
So this particular topic of new people joining the media space on the left, I've always pushed this. In the last maybe 8 months, I've kind of backed off of it since the last crop of people. So I used to put out little tweets, hey, if you want to become a podcaster, come on under my wing, I'll show you the ropes. and did I think two batches of people, and had them on Populous Voice. They were kind of doing their thing, and now they spun off and got their own thing called the People's Voice. Is the last batch of people. So I'm all for this. I think that considering the censoring, considering the suppression that is put on the left, we may not have left people who have a million followers anymore or subscribers. We may have to have 10,000 people that have 10,000 subscribers. That may be the way that we have to do this. It just has to be more people doing the work since they're suppressing us. But the advice I would give is just if you have the equipment, which is a phone, that's all that's required, then you could do it. Don't put off to say, oh, I gotta wait till I get this glowing mic. Oh, I gotta wait till I get a nice background. Don't put yourself on that sort of where you're stalling, because you always think of a reason not to do it. So you just have to jump in and do it. Layla from the what is her podcast? The Pat and Lila's podcast. Oh, Punch Up, the Punch Up podcast. Yeah.
Punch Up.
Punch Up. She was she started out with PVN. She used to have a show called The Happy Hour, where they would drink or smoke as they're talking about politics. So she's another one who kind of started out, and now she has her own podcast with Pat the Burner. So it's I think if you're wanting to do it, get started. Just all you need is a phone, and you can get started.
Yep. I mean, and one thing I say to people who are watching, if you really want to get into the space, look, if you have a phone and an okay internet connection, you're good. Now, if you're saying, oh, well, my background's not good, take some sheets that you have in your, and then take some thumbtacks, put them things up on the wall, and just turn your camera on, and that's it. It ain't even gotta be. Look, you don't even have to steam it or de-wrinkle it. We understand you're poor just like we are. Look, what?
Say I'm poor,
bad, man. This is so. Look, those spring type of
for
curtains?
The shower.
Yeah.
The shower
that's what's holding up these curtains. It ain't nothing to expect. Look, look, it's not even Family Dollar, man.
Yeah. No, they use those things in the hood because so as to way of not having to replace the infrastructure if it's broken. It's just an easy, cheap way of them going, hey, just pop this in there. It's capitalism.
Yeah, you gotta hood your way through it sometimes, and that's the way it goes. But that's the thing. Like, we're literally in an era where the access to us to be able to use our voice so that everybody who's like us can hear us, instead of having to go through the inner workings of a television network or station, we don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to go to school for broadcast journalism. If we really want to study it, we can get that on YouTube, learn it, and then use it online for ourselves for free. So I think there's been a dissemination of knowledge that has helped us. And part of that is being, associated with, members of RBN, also talking to people on Twitter. Now I'm literally reading theory right now, reading books.
I saw, yeah.
And so now this learning process is continuing to help us grow. But at the same time, it's not as limiting as it is that it used to be for the rest of us. And that is what it's like. And the thing is that there's a lot of people who don't like it, because there was almost like a gatekeeping aspect to it back then, right? Where
still a little bit today too, but yes, it is.
True. But even still, that gatekeeping aspect, now we can just wave it away because we're still in front of your face. You're still subscribing to our content, and we're still bringing the truth to you. And so I just love that, right? It's great.
Yeah, this is why Obama was like, the internet is not that good for democracy. He said something like that. I forget the exact quote, but he said something like the internet is not that good. And this is what they don't have the ability to be the only voice. And that's what's killing their whole thing in this. And that's why they're trying to suppress us on all of these platforms. Yeah. Like the things that they take us down for, the things that they say we get strikes for, is like, wow, like it's so telling what they're really doing and how it's not really trying to protect anybody. So telling.
Absolutely. And you know, that whole thing about Obama stating allegedly that the internet's not good for democracy. Well, pardon my French, but screw you. I mean, you know, because my thing is like, if you truly are a proponent of democracy, you should want it to spread. That being said, then you want to democratize information. You want to democratize the workplace. You want to democratize as much as you possibly can, because everybody has an equal say. If you don't agree with that, then wouldn't you be anti-democratic? Anybody who talks about they don't want democracy in the workplace, I view them as totalitarian. You know? So
no, I mean, I agree, and I think it I think it shows that companies know people want democracies in the workplace. That's why they try to project that's what they're doing. And Amazon is one of those companies that's going absolutely ham at trying to act like they're about trans rights and black this. And it's like, wow, it's like, really, as you union bust. That's
we're weird. Family. Get out of here.
As you're union busting.
Yeah, as you're union busting. Hello, Elon Musk.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about reporting. This is why I want to get some equipment for the RBN channel to go out as a citizen journalist, because there's a couple of Starbucks where they're outside picketing that I could actually go down and cover it. I just happened to pass it and I saw people outside picketing and I saw the Starbucks. And I wanted to stop, and it's like, wow, I don't have any. Now you do need a little bit of equipment if you're out in the field. You got to be able to hear people. You got to be able to. So that's a little bit hard. I tried it without it. I tried to report on my phone, and it was the sound. They could see me, but the sound was just sound was just not there. So.
Yeah, actually, I reported on that on Sunday, that there's the first Starbucks to ever unionize in California. They're going through a strike, and one of our followers on Twitter, I forget their name, and I do apologize for forgetting their name, but they also pointed out to us that the Starbucks in Boston has been they've been doing a month-long strike now.
Yeah, they have.
And so I want to give that some attention too on, my next broadcast. But yeah, so, and that's part of one of the things that we wanted to do was get out there and start being on the ground and doing the reporting there. For some of us, it's easier said than done. I mean, I still got, this going on. So, but yeah, I mean, and I can't wait for us, to grow in that aspect. So it's going to be really cool. So I'm excited for it. It's going to happen.
I feel like all of these stations, all of the old left media, they all grow the most under election year. So, because if you look back at like the Humanist Report, Rational National, if you just Google 4 years ago, they were getting stuff. They had a channel like ours just 4 years ago. It was the Trump presidency and those elections that blew their channels up. So I'm thinking, I was talking to Nick about this upcoming election season, because that's when people, even lay people, go to try to find political information and stories. So that's what happens during the elections, is that right now we just have all of the intense people that's already in it. They're always watching. Then when the election come up, then you get the casual watchers that start tune in more and to start to, YouTube and Google more
Yeah.
political things. So hopefully we'll see some exponential growth during this
Yeah.
upcoming period.
Yeah. So by that, man, you just keep walking into perfect segues, man. I gotta have you on more often. But the segues to my next question. This is actually a hypothetical question. Now, if you can't come up with an answer right away, that's okay, because I know that you had no idea I was going to ask this question. But hypothetically, you are now president of the United States. It is January 20th, your inauguration day. What are the first 3 actions you're taking as president within your first 100 days?
I mean, how many executive orders can I write? I mean, I'm literally
I
doing.
mean, I
I
mean,
mean,
well,
I think I
I
know I
said
can
3,
do
but if you want to go for
it.
more, go ahead, bro. Look, it's your world. I'm just a squirrel.
Yeah, like of course, student debt. Like anything I can get rid of with me just signing it. No, like that's gone. Like student
Okay.
debt, that's gone. If I'm able to decrease the military budget in some sort of military action, I think I am. If I'm the commander in chief, like that would be gone. I would if I'm able to eliminate all troops are coming home. Y'all coming home. Y'all discharged from all the military services. Like all of that is getting done. And then whatever executive action on the police state I was able to do. So any executive action, like if I'm able to go no qualified immunity or something close to it or something like that, like if I could do anything with the stroke of the pen for the police state, I would do the same with minimum wage, and then climate change. So I think those are 5 things. So police state, the military, climate change, student wiping away student, anything I can do with my pen is a done deal. Lobbyists are gone. Like you can't even come into the White House if you're a lobbyist or wherever they meet. Like you can't even, if I can sign an order where lobbyists can't be something, then I'm signing an order that say lobbyists. I'm flying around. Now I'm going into a tangent. Now I'm flying around to districts. I'm flying to West Virginia. Hey, West Virginians, all of you, I'm doing 10 rallies in West Virginia. All of you who are very poor, let's explain why you're Senator Joe Manchin. Let's explain, in wherever Mitch McConnell is from, let's explain why you're so poor, why you're one of the poorer states and what's happening. Like these are all the things I would do. Like I would be like almost like an activist, like as a president. And I mean, I would have, I would put people like, maybe Cornell West on my staff and other further left radicals on my staff.
Yeah.
Just a whole different look. But those are 5 of the 5 top things: the climate change, the student action, and the other things that I mentioned. First things I would probably do when I get there.
Nice. Thank you so much. That was some good. You kind of reminded me of one when Nick was on here. When I asked him that question, he said one of the things that, and this is what I love about the nerdiness of Nick, because you gotta respect the nerdiness of it. He was saying that, well, because you are commander in chief, you have full control of the foreign policy or the military of the United States. So he said he would cut the military budget. He was.
Oh, that's what I was saying. If you could do it, I'm doing that. Yep.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, so I loved it. I was just like, yes, So I those are all great answers, by the way.
And I would Medicare for all. I forgot he could do that under a pandemic. He can create an emergency and give everybody health care. So that would be immediate.
Yeah, in fact,
that would be immediate.
In fact, just for the viewers, that's actually a law under Section 1881A of the Social Security Act. It was actually done in Libby, Montana, to the people who are living there. So it actually gives the president the power under an emergency to give everyone Medicare. So really, the president actually can do that. That's actually the law. So
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, add that. So I have a little bit of everything: climate,
Mm-hmm.
student,
Mm-hmm.
medical, the
Mm-hmm.
police state, the military. Those are probably the 6 things I would tackle first.
Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. So my next question to you is, because everybody talks about what their resolution for the new year and what they're going to change. I want to know what you're going to double down on. What are you doubling down on?
Um, I'm doubling down on. You may have seen this. I'm doubling down on the figures in left media that are still trying to sheep herd the black community, the left,
Mm,
to the Democratic Party. Like,
mm,
we have to go ham at that group
mhm,
to detach the people who are listening to them from them. As many people as we can detach from listening to these voices, the Janks, the Sam Cedars,
mhm,
detach people from that. So for me, that's I'm going ham at that.
mm, mm. Yeah, a lot of people who are continuously trying to reform a party that continuously screws, especially those of us to the black community. It's like, I don't know. It feels like you get a lot of people who say, well, whatever method you're, going to do, do whatever you can to change the system. And my thing is there are people who are truly mean that. And if we're pushing towards direct action, they applaud us and they say, keep going. But then you have others that when we try to do that, then they look at us and say, well, you're doing it wrong, or you shouldn't
Yeah.
be doing it at all. And they kind of gatekeep on that. And then once we try to do it, then they talk down at us or talk against us. Or they are just so gung ho about doing it through the electoral system that they don't even bother to uplift the voices of those who actually do want to do it through direct action.
They you, for me, I look at it as it is a clear, uh, distinct, undeniable disdain for people
Mm-hmm.
you have to team up with. The professional managerial class hates the fact they have to team up with the working class. They hate that fact. So, like, so for me, again, I mean, I'm doubling back on what I already said.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like RBN, and I'm kind of going on a tangent, but I feel like RBN is here to do that. Is here.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's why we've grown so quickly. Is that
Yeah.
people say, one, these people are authentic, even if they disagree. We have a lot of people that watch us all the time that disagree with us, but they say at least you're being real with your position. You're not
Yeah.
gaslighting the position or anything, and I
Yeah.
can respect that. Like, and I can
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like, I can respect the person who say, yeah, I'm a racist, but I'm telling you up front that I'm a racist, than a
Yeah.
person who's pretending to be my friend and who's actually working against us. And now this is so let me zero in on this point. But
Okay.
it shows um how they don't care about us, that they keep saying just keep voting and doing it, and seeing that nothing is coming of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't got health care. Yeah, you're working 60 hours a day, which is affecting your family life because you can't be with your family. Yeah, you're doing all of that, but could you do that 4 more years? Could you do it 4 more years till we vote again? Like,
Yeah.
they don't have any care that you don't have health care. They just
Yeah.
go, oh, like, as it, like, what does that do? What does that do?
It doesn't do anything.
That's the extent of what they do. They hit a like or they retweet. I did my deed for today. No, like there needs to be more. Now, if you're saying keep doing this thing that's not working, but in the meantime, let me go ahead and fund your healthcare. Okay, let's work with that. But to say you're not even offering something as a go-between, as a bridge until you're saying we're gonna get healthcare. You're just saying don't have it?
Yeah.
While you have it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the reason why I go hard at the left media structure too, because they all have these things. And they're telling all the working class to just keep doing the same thing to get you healthcare in 20 years.
Well, I mean, this kind of goes in line with what I was speaking about when I was with Jordan Sheridan a couple months ago. Wow, it's been that long. But I was basically speaking about there seems to be this class divide, right? That's on the left, that you have ones who are very comfortable that say we just need to reform the Democratic Party, we just need to reform things over the next few years, and then we'll finally have what we need. And we're saying we don't have time for that. And if we, and it's like you may have time for it because you have healthcare, you have a decent, living, you have a house that you can stay in, you have all these things that you need. But people like me, and I was talking to a comrade earlier. It says, okay, so you're telling me to wait, for the next 4 years for another progressive. I want you to tell my landlord to wait 4 years. I want you to tell the electric company to wait 4 years. I want you to tell the people who do my dialysis to wait another 4 years. I want you to tell my stomach to wait another 4 years.
Right.
Like, tell them. And what are they going to say to you? And so it's like, okay, if you're focused on that, I get it. But please do not sit here and block me when I'm trying to get my feet and help other people get their feet out in the streets too. If you want to focus on that, great. But then you start to sabotage by telling your audience, oh, this person wants to team up with this person who voted for Trump against wars. And I'm like, but we're fighting against a war. And here's my question to people. And I may get in trouble for this, but it's whatever. Are you ideologically loyal, or are you class loyal? Maybe not ideologically loyal, but are you party loyal, or are you class loyal? Because you have people who are liberals who are super rich, and you have people who are ultra right who are super rich, but they are class loyal to the T.
Yes.
And they still team up with each other to screw you over. My thing is, why aren't we, and I'm not saying team up with racists. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying people who are propagandized to believe the lies. They're propagandized to believe that Palestinian people are terrorists. They're propagandized to believe that, the undocumented immigrants are coming in to take the jobs. They're propagandized to believe that, they're propagandized to believe that, oh, billionaires earn their money, right? They're propagandized to believe that, right? But then they see something wrong with the system and they want to fight against that one thing. It's like, okay, let's take that and run with it, and let's encourage them to move to a better position. And I say that with this. Just like a lot of these people who are on the right, who are saying we need to defund the FBI, I go, and instead of demonizing them and saying, oh, well, now you want to defund the FBI, where were you 4 years ago? I'm not going to tell them that. I'm going to say, you want to defund the FBI because of what they did to Donald Trump? Okay. Did you know that they also did this particular thing to Martin Luther King Jr.? Do you know that they killed Fred Hampton? Do you know that they constantly go against us who are on the left who are black? And look at what they did a week before they did to Trump, to the African People's Socialist Party. You're correct on that position, but I just want to enlighten you further on what they've been doing even to our voice. They've been silencing us when it comes to free speech. right? So you're right in that position. Now, let's start talking about spreading democracy into the workplace. And then that's how you do it. The thing is that a lot of people want to continue to vilify people for not being at the same place that you are. And we
Mhm.
can't do that. And like Savvy said in the stream, she said, those of us on the left, we can be condescending as hell. And that is something that we cannot afford. Our condescension needs to get tossed out the window, that ego tossed out the window, because they're propagandized too. They just haven't gotten to our
Right.
position yet.
Or at
So
least say it to your friends. Like, don't put it out. Like, say it to your friends. Like, damn, about time she came on. Like, okay, tell your friends. Like, or I'll go to JB or Nick. Yeah, man, it's about time, Marjorie Taylor Greene. But you don't gotta put it out there. When you put it out there to them, like, no, welcome aboard. I've tweeted about this before. You don't ask
yeah,
somebody who's been on the opposite side for this long, who's now on your side, where the hell have you been? You just simply give them a weapon on the battlefield and say, let's go to war. That's
yeah.
simply what you do. You don't ask a bunch of uh, uh, questions. But I want to just address the one thing. When you said you don't mean teaming up with races. That's never going to happen. This is a fake hypothetical thing that people who don't want us to team up that keeps bringing this up.
Yeah.
They keep assuming. So the person who is this crazy racist is going to want to team up with me. You get what I'm saying?
So
like, it is so stupid. Like, that person is that racist. Why would that person's not gonna want to team up with me.
No.
So what are you talking about? The one that they're describing? Because the one we're describing is somebody who's just misled. They're always want to say, no, what about the person who's this and this? That person is never gonna want to team up with me. So this is like just a hypothetical nonsense that's always brought up. But yeah, I just wanted to say that'll never happen.
No, and thank you for bringing that out, because the thing is, what races do you know is going to want to team up with my queer black ass? They're not going to want to. And I don't want to. So we stay apart. Like, right. Go ahead. Stay over there.
Take like the Young Patriots and the Black Panthers. If you look at when I did the stream on them, I had some footage where they're talking. Mm-hmm. They had Confederate flags when Black Panthers showed up. They were like what you said. They were people who may have prejudicial races in you, like background views, because had been brainwashed through the system.
Yeah.
But they weren't to the extent where they burning stuff where their whole point is being racist.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Their point isn't. So maybe that's a better way of saying it. We're not saying team up with people where their point is being racist. So skinheads, their point is being racist. KKK, their point is not just a regular average Trump voter who thinks blacks take up all the welfare money because they've been told that. That's a different person that we're talking about.
They're
who
lied
just been misled to believe that. So, but yeah.
No, and that's the point, because and then according to the history, what happened when they were enlightened about the Confederate flag and these racist ideals? Remember that the Young Patriots actually stopped using the Confederate flag, and they stopped and they started being anti-racist because number one, they saw that we're better together than we are apart, and that's the point. And even then, when the Young Patriots ended up readjusting their thinking, guess what happened? Some of the Young Patriots who were at a point of wanting to be racist, they left.
They hightailed
it out of there. And so that's something that I think people need to, come to. They need to come to terms with. Now, I only have a couple more questions because I know you got to get going soon. This is going to be fun questions. All right, you ready for some fun?
Sure.
But this is not going to be an easy question though, because I know CJ likes to eat. Don't let that slim exterior fool you. Don't let that fit exterior fool you. Homeboy likes to eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what's one food that CJ cannot live without?
Oh, that I can't live without.
Yes.
Uh, Maybe between chicken and peanut butter. Like I eat a lot of peanut butter.
Peanut butter?
Yeah,
Really?
I eat a
Wait,
lot of
wait, wait.
peanut butter.
Crunchy or smooth?
I went crunchy about 10 years ago. I was
Oh
smooth.
yes,
I
yes.
was smooth for a while, and that's because
Ah!
I didn't know about crunchy. I didn't know. I
Yeah.
never had, and then I
Ah!
tried it, and I was like, yeah. So now
Ah! You
I'm
hear
a
that,
crunchy.
Savvy? He likes crunchy peanut butter, Savvy. You hear that? Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I love chicken. Not like fried chicken, but like baked chicken. Different types of baked chicken.
Yeah.
Experiment with baked chicken. You know what I did? I started taking
What?
salad dressing
Oh
and
yeah.
marinating chicken in it.
Yeah.
So I took Italian dressing, put some chicken breast in it, let it marinate overnight, and
Oh
it
yeah,
tastes
that's
pretty
good.
good. Just
Yeah.
because just think about it, salad dressing has all of the seasoning already in it.
Yes.
You don't need to put nothing else
Yes.
in it. So that's why I just I tried it with Italian, balsamic, and some
Balsamic's
Caesar.
good
One of
too.
these things, Caesar. But yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
peanut butter and probably chicken in some form.
Yeah. Oh, I got a recipe. Okay, so the chef, when I was in culinary school, my chef gave me a recipe for a no-bake peanut butter pie. I'm gonna share that with you. I'm gonna share it
Okay.
with y'all. I'm gonna share it with all y'all right now. Okay. So here's what you do. Okay. You take you take peanut butter, right? You can do either crunchy or you can do smooth. I typically like to do smooth for this recipe. But you take smooth peanut butter, right? You whip it. Once it's whipped and softened, you add your granulated sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Not granulated. I'm sorry. Confectionery sugar. You add confectionery sugar to it. I don't have the measurement, so don't come for me for the measurements. Just wait. Just do it till it
Figure
feels
it
good,
out.
and you do it till it feels good in your spirit. That's how we do it in the black community. Anywho, so you mix it with that, and then once it fluffs up, then you take it out. Then you take whipped cream, fold it in, and then you put it into a pie pan, and then you put it into the refrigerator and let it set. Then you make more whipped cream and then put it on top. You slice it up and eat it. Oh no, you have to put it in graham cracker crust, but it's delicious. It's no bake. It's great. Um, sorry, you got me started. You got me started, man.
The chat, they talking about food in the chat. All in the chat, they talking about food.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm hungry
Caesar
too.
dressing. Oh, they're giving out little recipes.
Ooh, nice. Also, what's your favorite curse word?
I say these motherfuckers all the time, so probably that.
Yeah, that's the blackest shit.
I used to have that. I was gonna call a show. I was the show. You left shit out was originally gonna be called These Motherfuckers, but I was like, too much has to be bleeped out, so I changed it. I changed it to that. So that's probably the word I use a lot. I actually don't curse when I'm not upset. I curse use typically I'm upset or but like in a normal conversation, I don't normally uh curse. Not because it's just that it doesn't come up. It doesn't come up. It just
yeah.
doesn't
I,
come up.
I I curse less on my channel because I want it to be more accessible to people who, when they have little kids
Yes.
around, so they can hear it more
Right.
often. So that's the reason why I've kind of lowered on it. But JB still
No, that
doesn't.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So this is going to be a really complex question. This is my last question, but I really want, this one requires some thought, but it's a really good question that I love to ask people. So you've lived a long life and you're on your deathbed reflecting on that life. What is the one thought you want people to remember about you?
Just for me, like I want people to go, loved you or not, that motherfucker was a real motherfucker. Like he really, like whatever he believed, like he's going ham, and I can
Yeah.
respect that. That's it. Like just to be like, nah, he was real. He was a real one. Like
Yeah.
he was real, authentic. Maybe that's a better word. Yeah, he was authentic. So that's what I would want is just to be considered, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is,
Mm-hmm.
whatever space it is. That no, he's he's a real one. I can depend on him. His word is his bond. That type of thing. Yeah.
That's
I know it's simple. It's not long, but it's because I kind of already had I don't know where I answered this question, or maybe just thought of. Yeah, I think I thought of it with all the deaths that's happening. I have thought of it, just thinking like, how do I want people to remember me? I just want people at my funeral going like, I hate that motherfucker, but I'm here because I respected that motherfucker because he was real about his shit. Like
mm-hmm.
that's what I want for me.
Yeah. There is beauty in the simplicity of that.
Mm.
Thank you so much for that, CJ. That was a beautiful answer. I appreciate it very much. So yeah, that was actually my last question. And I want to make sure that we end it in respect of your time.
Yeah, I forgot. And I think either somebody messaged me. I have a stream with Nick starting in like 20 minutes or so.
Oh, okay.
So I have to go.
Mm-hmm.
I came on with you not having smoked yet, so I have to go smoke a little bit before I go on. No, because I have
Yeah.
to watch. I can't get through the Bree Jank interview. It's so
Oh,
infuriating to
oh
watch.
no.
It's such a hard watch, but we're covering that. We're covering that for
Yeah.
this upcoming stream, so I need to medicate just to not go crazy on this shit.
I
He is
understand, man.
Yeah, he is terrible, man. Like he is like this interview. I've been trying to watch it like 3 times, and it just gets to parts where I'm like, man, just if I was just there, this is what I would say. Shut the fuck
Oh,
up, man. But
yeah. I got.
yeah, so I'm gonna go, and I gotta go check on my wife
Yeah,
and my
I
daughter.
got you.
So before the stream starts. But this has been great.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should do a part 2. So this is just part 1,
Mm-hmm.
and we can do another one soon.
Yeah, I'll have you back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm gonna check out and go smoke and see about the
Mm-hmm.
family. This has been
Mm-hmm.
great. Lots of great people in the chat.
Yeah,
A lot of the
definitely.
same people. Ware Pilgrim,
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Smith.
Yeah.
Lots of the same people. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So good.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna check out JB. It's been
Mm-hmm.
wonderful, sir.
Thank you so very much. Also, just to let everybody know that I actually have the links to CJ's Twitter, Mutual Aid Forever, as well as the link to RBN in the description below. Thank you so much, CJ, for joining me. Much love to you, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Okay. So that was a great conversation. I just want to thank everybody for being in today. So I'm going to be going to the chat to give my salutations to everyone and hellos. So, CBC Voter is in the chat saying CJ and JB. So good to see you, CBC Voter. Lovely to have you as well. All power to the worker says, uh-oh. All right. Anna Jackson says, hot lava. Yes, that tea was hot too. I made it a little too hot though. I had to let it cool. But I finished it off. I finished it. She's Black says, LOL. We are laughing. Look, joy is revolutionary. Keep laughing, She's Black. That's what we need. All right. Tony Plow says, hey, everyone. Where Pilgrim says, hey, everybody. So good to see you. All right. All right. We have AG saying hello. All right. We have Holly Horn saying hello to you as well. Holly. Bryce saying CJ and JB, what's up? Good to see you. All right. Luigi is saying RBN. more than TYT. Thank you so much. All right. Let me see here. Who else did we have? Krona, Ursa. Do you plan on continuing that project, CJ? Oh man, I'm sorry. I was doing the interview. I didn't see that. Um, but thank you so much for that as well. Good to see you. Who else is in your chat? They can say hello to. Oh yeah, Candles Boat 504 says so sad. My whole heart goes out to you and for your son losing his friend in such an awful way. Yeah, there's a lot of us, and the thing is, what the thing I hate is that not only did it happen to him, but it's stuff like this is so common among us, especially workers and poor people, that we go through this stuff. So yeah, it's pretty bad. Cat Terrell is in the chat. Good to see you. Says it can sometimes be perceived as a compliment when someone says you're so articulate, intelligent, must be a lawyer, etc. But learn it can also be a overall racial insult. Yeah, that can happen too. Some people just don't realize it though. So sometimes you have to give people grace in that, and sometimes some people just don't know the inner workings. You know, and but they're trying, and if they learn from it and they continue to grow from that, I think that's important. So like Nick always says, there's no such thing as a perfect ally, but just like I try to be an ally to women and trans people, but I'm not perfect, but I keep trying and I learn as much as I possibly can. All right. Creative Experiments is in the chat. So good to see you as well. All right. Who else did we have that I didn't get to say hello to? All right. Leroy is in the chat with all love. That's good. All right. No, 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 no. No, I can't. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't because it's kind of hard to talk with a CPAP on you. So the Pale Horse says, "Hey everybody, we have a comrade being held in Fulton County, Georgia, trumped up on possession charges. We need to help bail them out ASAP." Is this the dude that was put on for marijuana possession? And I think they're trying to basically throw the book at him. I think that's what it is. But yeah, I'm just trying to catch up with some of the chat. Um, but yeah, that that's not right. Let me see. See, Arcane, good to see you. Says I agree with Jay. Watching TYT interview with Bree was really hard to watch. Had to turn it off 5 times and even skip quite a bit. I think I'm gonna do a stream about that. I think I'm gonna watch the whole thing. Jeez, and I'm gonna react to it. I think I'm gonna do it late night. I think I'm gonna do it later this evening because I can't right now because I have a prior engagement. But I think I'm gonna watch it and react to it. But I can't do it too late because I have dialysis in the morning. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I already watched like a 10-minute clip of it. I'll give you guys my thoughts in a stream. But yeah, Raziel the Great, so good to see you as well. And thank you. Smash the like. I should do a like check just like CJ always does. Oh, let me see. Hang on. Let me see. Right now, I think I'm good on likes. If you guys would like to, uh, you know, give about 10 more likes. If we can do that, that'd be great. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Raziel. Yeah, watch for something that will make you calm. Bree was so calm and composed. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, there's times where I wish that I think sometimes it's best for some people to really like not necessarily be rude, but allow their assertiveness to show forth to shut somebody down. Um, I'm not very good at that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am not a very confrontational person. I despise confrontation. So, but I, the amount of hubris and the amount of condescension that I saw really just turned me off. And I'm talking about from Chink. That amount of condescension and hubris is one of the reasons why the left can be divided as much as it is. I'm going to say that at least. That's one thing I will say before before I ever get on and do my stream and reacting to it. But yeah, John Schmidt says people unhurt by sanctions, including but not limited to Israeli landlords, bankers, and monopolies. Yeah, not sure where that came from, but I do agree that sanctions are not good for the working people. Jenna Colby, good to see you, says, I don't want you to put TYT on my recommends. So I'll watch whatever clip's going around. Amen. Raziel the Great says, JB, if the ratio is off, just end the stream. Nah, the ratio's not off. It's actually a good ratio, to be honest with you. So I am glad. Take care of VS Adams. Good to see you here. I'm going to be ending in a minute or so myself, actually. Brent Hudgens says, I so want Brianna Joy Gray to turn her camera off every time Chink spoke, which would mimic his lack of respectfulness. Yeah. That could be one way of doing it. But yeah. So later this week, I will be continuing my reading of Dirty Truths by Michael Parenti. So we're going to be continuing on that. And we're now officially in chapter 2. I'll be doing chapter 2, part 2 of the reading in Dirty Truths by Michael Parenti later this week here on YouTube. And if you guys are interested, on my Rockfin channel, I will be continuing the reading of Blood in My Eye by George Jackson. We'll be continuing that reading. And we're basically in the middle of the book. So, and it's been getting really good. And I'm gonna be honest with you. After reading this book reminds me of CJ in so many ways. It really does. Like it's like a get shit done type of book. And so, if you guys really want to hear, the reading for this Blood in My Eye by George Jackson, I highly recommend that you go to my my Rockfin channel by the same name, Jaybefaunt, and you guys can take a look at it there. It's a good book. I'll just leave it at that. When does JB read Blood in My Eye? I do it every week. It's on my Rockfin channel. In fact, let me go to my damn. Okay, I don't want to leave this. Yeah, it's Rockfin, but I have my my username Jaybefaunt in Rockfin, so you can just go there. I read Blood in My Eye once a week. I read so that's what I do on there. It's been a really good book. I'm literally in the middle of it. Actually, yeah, I'm literally in the middle of it right now. Brent says, I think RB and you should do non-reaction videos and focus on why not focusing on Chink is a better idea. Don't ruin the surprise. I don't have a particular day like I should. I should have a particular day, but I don't. And it's not live stream. It's just an upload. It's a recording. It's an upload. So it's not a live stream at all. But I uploaded Saturday. So but yeah. So that's what I have so far. Can I recommend books for you to read on YouTube? You can. I already have my next book that I want to read after Blood in My Eye. That I already have set in my mind already. But you can definitely do some recommendations. I welcome it. Emoji says, I sometimes find myself engaging with anti-force to vote folks just to see if I can explain to them how they're missing the point and being used to sabotage movement efforts and momentum. Okay, thank you so very much. Yeah. A lot of times people go, well, what's the plan for force to vote? And it's like, okay, so when you're forcing the vote, then you're letting people know who truly is for the people and who isn't. Even if even if the person is just voted for it for the sake of looking good, well, now you can hold them to that account. And that was the point of forcing the vote, because anybody really can just, do what's the correct word? They can co-sign on the bill, right? They can sign on to it and be like, well, I'm a co-sponsor of the bill. The thing is that it's like, no. When a point comes to when it's literally forced, by the Speaker of the House to put it on the floor for a vote, are they going to do it? And then you can hold them to that. And if not, then if they're not going to, vote for it, then you can always, have somebody who will push for it. And including too, but not limited to, but including too, people who are third party, who will be like, look, these Democrats, they're not going to do it, but I'm in a third party, I'll do it. And that was the main point, selling point of forcing the vote. It's basically, are you willing to actually fight for it? Are you willing to get bumped and bruised over it? Are you willing to really go after people for it? Right. And so, you have some people who are like, but then after that, what? Well, then now you know who's really for it and who's really against. Like, everybody knew that Kamala Harris was a co-sponsor of Medicare for All, but what about now? Right? So now you can vote for it and be like, well, I voted for Medicare for All. Right? And even still, that can still be used as a tool, and then they can, back off on it and renege on it. But at least it's on record, right? At least it's in there, But that was also at a time when I was more, I had more faith. Not well, yeah, I have more faith in pushing electoralism. My faith in electoralism is now down to, I just push it just a little bit in third parties, but I think, more direct action is the best way to go. So, but yeah, I still think the force to vote is better than nothing. So, yep, X, you always trying to get me in trouble. Oh my goodness. Uh what the hell? So got him. Hey, welcome back. Oh my lord! Oh my goodness! What are you guys saying on my chat? Are you trying to defile my chat? Oh my goodness! Bryce Smith says she said it to take votes from Bernie. I knew she was never for it. This is about the Medicare. Oh yeah. Of course she was trying to do it, just take votes from Bernie. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care who passes, I don't care who passes single fair health care as long as it gets passed. I think that's the point that a lot of people don't realize. I didn't care if, because remember when Donald Trump was like, well, I think we should start giving Medicare to everybody. Remember when he said that? A lot of us who are on the left were like, do it. Do it. We don't care. I don't care. Look, you can call it Trump care for all I know. I don't care. Just give it to us. Single payer, give and include, make comprehensive with dental, vision, long-term care. Give it to, call it Trump care. I don't care. Just give it to us. Do it. You want to tax all the wealthy people just to pay for it? Go ahead, do it. It's just like if I'm in a car accident, I don't care who you are, just get me out of the burning car. Right? That's what matters. It's the saving of lives. It's the saving of people. It's to not have that barrier of cost or profit between people and actually getting healthcare. That's the whole point. I don't care who passes housing first policy. I don't care, because it's literally saving lives. I don't care who passes a bill to decrease the military budget by like 75%. I don't care who does it as long as it gets done. I don't care who passes a bill or a law that makes it that gives tax breaks to co-ops and levies a heavier tax on companies that are headed by just a corporate executives and shareholders. I don't care. If you're going to be the type of person that levies a tax, that gives tax breaks and subsidies towards companies that actually have employees in a co-op, and that makes them that democratizes their workplace, okay, I don't care. Do it. Because it's the policy. See, the thing is that class loyalty and policy loyalty is what will move things. And then getting your ass out in the street and making sure that the pressure's on. That's the only thing that I really care about, right? And so that's really what I think when it comes to policy positions, you know. And this is why I look at third parties and I'm like, okay, they want reparations for Black people. Okay, cool. They also want a universal healthcare system for everybody. Okay, cool. They want to save this planet so that we actually have a future. Okay, good. Let's do it. The duopoly, they tell you exactly what they're about. They constantly are telling you what they're about. The problem is there's some people that just don't listen. That's their issue. But yeah, exactly. Thank you. Brent said, oh, he said, Bryce is right. And the additional part of the equation is that neither Medicare for All candidate would win if the votes divide. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing the reading later this week, and I'm trying to make sure that I stay on the ball on that. Also, just a thank you to everybody who has been, a contributor to Patreon, to Coffee. People have been sending me random mutual aid that I definitely need, but thank you so much for doing that. Again, CJ's links are in the description below. If you want to, link up to him through his Twitter. He also has Mutual Aid Forever as well. So that is a great foundation. Also link up to that, as well as to the RBN YouTube channel. So make sure to do that. Also, if you are watching me on Rockfin, I also encourage that. If you're watching on Rockfin, please also make sure to leave me a like. And also, what do you guys think about some of the things that CJ said? in the comments. What are your thoughts, especially about about those of us that are working class? That a lot of times, as you saw with CJ, when it rains, it pours, right? Same thing that happens to me. Same thing. Like, hey, look at what happened to my. I think about people like my grandmother. Like when it rained, it poured. When it comes to her, she lost her house that she owned for 50 years, right? Because of the system and the way it operates. You know what I mean? My mom is going to be 71. She's never owned a home in her life. What about people like her? When it rains, it pours. You have so many different things that happen, so, uh, you know, why do we live in a system that continuously adds on to the pain that we already have? Life is full of pain just as a human being alone. Why are we exacerbating the pain through a system which uh, pulls people in as far as exploiting them and then leaves them in the dirt like a piece of used toilet paper, right? So, what is your thoughts on that? Please make sure to put that in the comments as well. Um, Yepek says, "Hey JB, did you know that Bill Nye the Science Guy is against mass transit rail? Heard him on a Rolling Stone interview." Wait, Bill Nye, the Science Guy, Bill Nye the Science, that Bill, the one who I used to watch every single Sunday when I was a kid before you know, right before I watched Xena. Uh, that guy is against mass transit rail that would take more cars off the road and take more that would take yeah, decrease the amounts of carbon dioxide that we actually have in the air, thus helping us save against climate change. That guy, the one that we could start using electricity and we would need to mine less lithium from other countries, so that means that would leave us to having a better foreign policy, so we wouldn't have to go abroad to take resources out of out of these countries for the oil fields, and we can actually save ourselves. That Bill Nye, really? Ah, boy, capitalism! I tell you, mm. Who is he getting paid by? I wonder. Anywho, so yeah, so it is time for me to mosey on. I just want to say to all of you, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being my teachers, because that's what you guys are. Mwah, mwah. Uh, uh. Uh, please make sure to water your plants, water yourselves. Go to RBN right now, because I think Nick and CJ are about to go live. Leave the world better than you found it. Smoke them if you got them. I know CJ is. Shout out to you, brother. Also, if you got something to eat them. Hey, look, and if you got some candy, oh, look, this is that church lady candy. See, that church lady candy. You know what I'm saying? That's when she also got that mixed with the breath mints too. But the breath mints are usually the last ones in the church lady. Usually got it in a little Ziploc bag. She bring it for the kids in church. Anyway, eat some church lady candy. All right, including the Werther's originals. Those can come in clutch too. Mwah! Forehead kisses to every single one of you, you, and you, and you. And I will always love you.